The linebackers are Woodard Willis and William Thomas, who had 2 interceptions last week and 7 picks last year. Vincent, the ex-Dolphin, with Taylor. At the corners, Zordich and Brian Dawkins, a rookie from Clemson, who has won the starting job at free safety.
And if you want to look at bad blood, go to William Fuller and Eric Williams.
All night long.
Yep.
Here's Emmitt Smith going next to nowhere. Gets across the 25, setting up a 3rd down and 4 with 9 minutes to go in the quarter.
Dallas is so big up front, and Philadelphia is trying to counter that. They're going to bring their safety up. Dan touched on it at the beginning. They're going to lock up Tony Vincent with Deion Sanders, not being terribly concerned with the other receivers, and then they're going to bring people up from the outside. The cornerback, the safety will be up. They're focusing on Emmitt Smith. They feel he's the only way they can lose this football game.
3rd and 4. The Eagles with 6 defensive backs and some confusion defensively with players running all over the joint, and Aikman can't take advantage of it. As Don Griffin, the longtime 49er veteran, knocks it down, and it's 3 and out for Dallas.
Roy could have easily picked up the 1st down on the ground. I think he thought he could squeeze that in there. A good play by Don Griffin, former 49er, been around a lot. He made a diving deflection.
One thing about Aikman, keep in mind how he finished that Buffalo game, twisted up. He hurt his knee and his ankle, and I would have to think all week long running was probably the last thing on his mind.
John Jett punt, Marseille to bring it back. Good kick. Flag down, 48-yard punt. And a 9-yard return to the 35-yard line, but a marker down. Bob McElwee is the referee. The flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Ineligible man downfield against Dallas. Joe Avezzano looks on in wonderment.
Ineligible down on the kick. Number 34. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
That's Herschel Walker. So 8:10 to go in the opening quarter in Philadelphia. The Eagles leading the Cowboys 3-0. The Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes providing that shot. What a shot. South Philadelphia Veterans Stadium, facility that opened in 1970. As the Eagles on 1st down, Rodney Peete sets up the screen pass for Kevin Turner. It's incomplete. A lot of traffic there. 2nd and 10. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the New Ford Expedition, the only way to get there. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. NEC, a world leader in multimedia technology. And Pepsid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Interesting, Dan. Leon led on the sidelines. Tony Casillas. They do shuffle him around, but this early in the game, you wouldn't expect to see the Cowboys defense without Leon.
No, I agree, especially on a relatively cool night.
Waters on an inside handoff on 2nd and 10, picks up a yard.
Here comes the cat back out.
And Casillas made that last tackle as Lett returns to the lineup.
Maybe had a mechanical problem of some type. He may have had some type of an equipment adjustment over on the sidelines.
And Charles Haley there with the bad back, and it's been a recurring problem for Haley. And he will sit out tonight and maybe one more game after the bye week. 3rd down and 8 from the 37. Eagles leading 3-0. Peete protected well. Finds the open man, the fullback Turner. Wide open. Big gain to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, you just got to know that's something they picked up. That Dallas was doing a flaw in their defense on that given situation. It was a great call by John Gruden, the offensive coordinator. And they go to Kevin Turner. What a difference he's meant to this offense this year. They got it from New England a year ago. He was a good receiver and a good runner after he gets the football in his hands. Wide open, though.
Well, the Cowboys blitz to that side, but when you run a blitz to a side, when the receiver comes out, somebody's got to come across the formation and pick him up. A blow by the Cowboys.
41-yard pickup for a guy who caught 52 passes as a Patriot 2 years ago. And now Waters knifes his way inside the 20 to the 19, tackled by Darren Smith with 6.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter, and the Eagles on top 3-0.
I mean, Turner being a receiver is no secret to any team in this league. He has been a quality receiver for a long time. He played in New England, had over 50 catches 1 year there, had 11 for almost a 10-yard average coming into tonight. This guy is an extremely good lead blocker, but he's a fine receiver out of the backfield as well. That shouldn't have surprised the Cowboys.
2nd and 6 from the 18-yard line. Great protection. Heat has time, but the coverage is there as they try to go to Turner, but this time Broderick Thomas with him step for step, the linebacker covering him, blanketing him. The Eagles now in the red zone inside the 20-yard line. And here is tonight's Coca-Cola red zone fact. This season, inside the 20, you can see the Bills have allowed a touchdown just 17% of the time. Cowboys next best, 20%. So they're in that situation right here where they've been tough. 2 times in 10 penetrations this season have the Cowboys allowed a touchdown in the red zone. This is number 11. 3rd down and 6 from the 18-yard line as Pete throws underneath. Chris T. Jones looks for that first down and pays the price, but gets the first down as he's tackled by Strickland.
And we talked earlier about how Jones and Irving Fryer, the other wide receiver, they'll work well over the middle. They have full concentration on the football. Jones is big. He's 6'3", 210, 215 pounds, and he is willing to take the shot that this offense calls for. And there's a guy who would take one, too. Ray Rhodes. He's as tough as they come, their head coach.
What did he say to us last night, Frank? I don't want any pretty boys running on the sidelines. My receivers have to go over the middle and take some shots. And there was a darn good look at it right there of what kind of physical play these Eagle receivers are willing to play with.
And Ricky Waters into that Cowboy defense coached by Dave Campo. You just saw him a moment ago as his defense tries to stiffen here. The Eagles can get a first down without a touchdown as they start from just outside the 10. It's now 2nd and 8.
Ray Rhodes has turned this team over. There's only 8 Eagles left of the 57 that when he arrived here, only last year. This is his football team. Make no mistake about it. And a couple of good players with Jones and Fryer, and they're developing a real fine tight end, Jason Dunn.
8 players and no coaches from Rich Kotite's staff of 2 years ago. 2nd and 8. Waters busts it to the 2-yard line, a little short of the first down. Strickland makes the tackle. It's going to be 3rd and about a yard for a first down, and maybe a little less than 2 for the touchdown.
Well, when Ray Rhodes got to Philadelphia, he knew a part of his ball club that needed an overhaul and needed to get better was his offensive line. And look at the way this group has started. That's 73. That's Lester Holmes. Richard Cooper at right tackle. Panos pulls around the block of Raleigh McKenzie. And they're blowing the Cowboys off the ball.
Did you see what they did to Chad Hennings, 95?
They just took him 5 yards off the ball.
3rd and 1. As they spread out on a 3rd and 1, and Pete rolls out and then throws incomplete to Ricky Waters. A most interesting call here on a 3rd down and 1 with Randall Godfrey covering on the play.
I can only assume that when he calls a pass on 3rd down, it's because he's planning on going for it on 4th. And that's what the Eagles are going to do.
This is Ray Rhodes' decision, and he'll leave it up to
It's really
to make the call.
I think that's a very good throw by Rodney. It looked like Ricky got his leg caught behind him and didn't really get much of an extension to make that catch.
Will the Eagles go for it? We'll find out. In the meantime, they take a timeout. 3:53 left in the quarter. The Eagles totally dominant to this point in this period, but leading only 3-0, and a critical play coming up against the Cowboy defensive unit that's given up only 4 touchdowns in 4 games this season, tying the Colts for the fewest allowed. But they have to dig in here on a 4th and 1. The Eagles can get a first down without a touchdown from the 1.5-yard line. And to Waters, and he scores. He broke the Darren Woodson tackle, and it wasn't the cleanest handoff you've ever seen.
Ricky Waters making the decision to take it to the outside against the, well, Dan characterized him as one of the best defensive safeties, maybe the best at supporting the run, Darren Woodson, and he beat Darren Woodson.
Coming into this season, most people would acknowledge that number 28 is the best tackling strong safety in the NFL. Ricky, this is all Ricky bouncing it to the outside. There's Woodson. He doesn't even make a dent on Ricky Waters. A dominating drive by the Eagles.
Gary Anderson bangs it through after the 50th touchdown of Ricky Waters' career. 3:48 remaining in the first period as the Eagles score on a 4th down call and lead 10-0. Darren Woodson sitting down, venting his frustration as the Cowboy defensive unit came off the field, and it's been that sort of a first quarter for the Dallas Cowboys. They're already bloodied and bruised, down 10-0 as the kickoff is taken by Herschel Walker at the 7-yard line, and Herschel Walker has busted one as he takes it into Philadelphia territory to the 42-yard line. So just when the Cowboys needed to be jump-started, it's the ex-Eagle who does it, and Joe Avezzano exhorts him from the sideline.
And the last kickoff he ran back for a touchdown, he ran back several, was when he was a Philadelphia Eagle. Still a great athlete. He had those great years in the USFL before he even came to the National Football League. Of course, very celebrated career with Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, the Giants, and now back to his roots, the Cowboys.
49-yard return by Herschel Walker, and now Aikman to the air on first down, throwing, and it is caught by Kelvin Martin. Kmart, the once and present Cowboy, started his career with Dallas, then went to Seattle and Philadelphia, was out on the street, but because of all of the problems, they bring him back, and now he's a starter. 16-yard gain.
Significant, though, even though it's a completed pass, and it's really just a nice hook pattern right at the first down marker by Martin. Troy Aikman takes a shot. Mark Woodard hit him on the blitz. He ended up on the ground. This is a banged-up quarterback. He can't take a lot of that tonight.
First down from the 28-yard line, and they give it to Emmitt Smith. He picks up a yard, taking it to the 27-yard line. Tackled there by William Fuller. Emmitt Thomas is the Eagle defensive coordinator when Ray Rhodes got the job. One of his first hires was Emmitt Thomas, who has been around.
Did a great job in his game plan last week against the Atlanta Falcons, and Emmitt Thomas is in that position where people are starting to talk about that he's going to end up being a head coach in this league.
Well, of course, he had all those years with the Washington Redskins. Yeah. Ray Rhodes, unfamiliar with the NFC East, and he picked the man, Emmitt Thomas, to guide his defense.
2nd and 9 out of a split back set with Emmitt Smith on the bench for the moment, and the pass is incomplete. James Willis helped to break that up on the blitz, number 50.
When you blitzing the Dallas Cowboys, and in particular Troy Aikman, is something that people just did not do, because when they had Michael Irvin, when they had Novacek, they had the talent to make you pay. Now blitzing the Cowboys, as we've seen from the very beginning on our opening Monday night game with the Bears, has become routine. The Chicago Bears, Frank, are seeing more blitzes than anything else.
Dan, some of it wasn't where they should have been. Troy Aikman, that would be right. He was looking for the checkoff man. He wasn't there.
3rd down and 9 from the 27. Draw. Emmitt Smith inside the 20 for the first down, and runs right over Barry Wilburn to the 11-yard line. With 2 minutes to go in the quarter, and the Cowboys in need of something big, and who better to give you something big than that man?
Well, just out of frustration, I think he was looking for an Eagle to hit. Big opening over in the left side. They stuffed this earlier. This zone block over there, and a good one by Mark Tuanay and Nate Newton. They opened a big hole, and watch this. Emmitt Smith just looking for someone to crunch.
Boy, they found the soft spot in the Eagle defense there. They were undermanned to that side.
Well, they're very small over there, too.
That was Dallas's longest run of the season, 17 yards, and then on a play in which we get a flag, it's Emmitt Smith who might have lost the football, but gets it back at the 10-yard line. Marker down. Smith, of course, we saw him on opening night in Chicago, and
I think they were in motion. The Cowboys looked like Emmitt Smith wasn't set.
Illegal motion.
It is.
Number 22, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That scary night in Chicago, opening night with a neck, and he's taken off the field, and he injured his knee in preseason, ankle and rib injuries as well. He is really beaten up.
But he was the hitter rather, not the hitty, as he took it to Barry Wilburn on the carry before, but came back, and it's a mental mistake by Emmitt that cost the Cowboys 5 yards. He was still moving at the snap of the football, trying to get into his stance.
Mentioned the Eagles being small. They do not have a linebacker starting that weighs 240 pounds. Their right defensive end, Mamula, is a 250-pound defensive end, and you would think the Cowboys with their massive offensive line could just dominate.
It is first.